What's up, YouTube? This is Heroic Lockdown with a new video. So it's quarantine time. You're bored. You don't really know what to do, but I'm gonna help you out because it's time to start a D&D group. So this video is very focused on the aspect of creating a Dungeons and Dragons group because it is really not all about the nerdiness anymore. It is really about gathering your friends together to go on crazy, weird adventures and have fun. I don't know how many people that I have in my groups that I would never expect to actually play Dungeons and Dragons, and here they are today having a blast. So anyone can do it. So I'm going to do a very large, multi-part video to kind of get you guys started when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. The first part is to get your friends together. Now this can be 4 or 5 of your best friends that you believe would have a great time with this. Now don't make the groups too big because then it will get a little bit more difficult to manage, especially for inexperienced individuals to the world of Dungeons and Dragons. So make sure to start with maybe 3 to 5 players at max when starting these groups. So next you want to select a DM, which stands for Dungeon Master. Now, Heroic Lockdown, what does a Dungeon Master stand for? Well, I'm going to tell you, you little learners. Basically, God. Freaking the Messiah. The ruler. The Lord of the lands. Basically, in layman's term, the Dungeon Master is basically the individual that's going to be telling the story to the players, giving the encounters, describing the worlds that they see, the characters they see, the monsters they see, wide variety of other things to basically just kind of weave these stories all together and create a fun adventure for the players that are playing this Dungeons and Dragons game. It is very essential to have a Dungeon Master because then you don't have D&D. So this is when the Dungeon Master now has to start doing majority of the work. So as a Dungeon Master, you want to start reading. Yes, I know, reading sucks, but reading is essential to understanding exactly how this whole Dungeons and Dragons world works and the mechanics of it. So you want to start off with getting 3 of the main books, because these 3 will be the ones that will allow you to succeed a lot better when creating your worlds. Now, there's more books than just these 3, but I will get into those later on throughout these different these different videos so you kind of have an understanding of what to look for. So it's important to read these books because it allows you to experience world building, it allows you to experience the rules, and also the creatures that you could possibly encounter. So you don't really have to do a full-blown read, but it's important to just scan through and get a general understanding of how these mechanics work. And I mean, as the DM, you can take as long as time as you want to get this whole situated and prepare yourself for Dungeons and Dragons, but it's very important that you do read as much of the material as possible, and then once you get a comprehensive understanding of it, you can start your sessions. Now fast forward multiple weeks maybe, or days, depending on how dedicated you are. You have an understanding of these 3 books, you have an understanding of D&D. What's next? Now it is the aspect of the world building. Now the world building can be pretty intimidating when you think about it, but it really only can stem when it comes to one location, because you want a starting point for your players. You want to have maybe a map of the location that they are starting in, a few towns, maybe a capital or a castle, or some villages, maybe some like forests or lakes or mountains, something that will keep them occupied for a certain amount of time before you start to adventure out into this world building world for Dungeons and Dragons. I will describe a little bit more about world building as how I have done it in the previous years later in other videos. Now you cannot rush Dungeons and Dragons. You got to be able to take your time and work on this very slowly so everybody can understand and have fun. So that is very important to have a session 0. You cannot just jump straight in and start playing. A session 0 will allow players and the DM to get together, have some fun, and build characters. Characters I'll describe a little bit later in one of the other videos, but a session 0 is very essential because it allows that bond and relationship to start growing more when it comes to this adventure-like gaming, so people can start understanding what they want. The DM can help answer questions and all this stuff. Congratulations, you are partly on your way to starting a Dungeons & Dragons game. Now, next what I plan to talk about is the character building in the next video to kind of help people grasp the understanding of what character building truly is and how each player can fit into certain roles of character building. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any other questions, please comment or send your own personal messages to me. I am starting to add my Instagram page down below in the comment section, so you can go visit that as I do notifications for whenever videos are coming up. Thank you for watching, so please, if you enjoyed this video, like it or even subscribe it, and hopefully I will see you guys on the next video of How to Dungeons & Dragons, as this is Heroic Lockdown preparing for interstellar launch. D&D!